One, identify the top 3 challenges of Hays CISD and how you plan to address those challenges.
Are these challenges my challenges that are in my opinion? Or
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So I think that one of my top 3 challenges is the transparency. Like, we need to know what's going on. We need to know the purpose of things that are going on. We need to be made abreast of situations. My favorite word is transparency. That's been my first thing that I put on everything. Talk to people, talk to the community, talk to the students, talk to the parents. Everybody needs to know what's going on. So one challenge, the challenge of transparency, is talking to people, getting out in the community, holding forums such as this, giving people a voice, giving students a voice. And the next challenge is equitable education, making sure the schools all mirror from the east to the west. All the schools need to mirror each other. They need to be the same. They need to be afforded the same opportunities. They need to be given the same resources from across the board. And my next thing is, again, making sure that our youth is ready for the real world when they leave our schools. Are they ready for college? Are they ready for their careers? Are they ready for the military? Are they ready when we put them out at graduation? Are they going to be, citizens? Are they going to be able to pay bills? Are they going to be able to live? So one of the challenges is making sure they're ready. And how I plan to do that, or how I think we can do that, is inviting them to events, inviting them to leadership committees, and letting them learn things, engaging them, getting them interested in all of these things. And for me, again, everything boils down to communication, talking, getting out there, meeting people, and all of the above. Thank you so much.
Top 3 challenges. Well, the immediate challenge, of course, is COVID. And like Mr. McManus said, rainy day fund. Boy, if this isn't a rainy day, I don't know what a rainy day is going to be if it's not this COVID pandemic. And yes, we should be able to tap into that, because it's like telling a kid to save for a savings account. You save your money, put it in a savings account. Oh, look how much money you have in there. But you can never spend it. It doesn't make any sense. This is a rainy day. The other thing that I'm most concerned about for Hays in the long term, and I've said this 3 times, and this will be the 4th year, is the year 2030. 10 years from now, the 1,000 students that we're going to get new every year, and where we're going to be in 20, 30 years from now, we're going to be a huge, sprawling school district. Now, another at the top 3 challenges, something that's near and dear to my heart, is equity of schools. I live in Niederwald. It's the forgotten part of Hays County. It's the forgotten part of this school district too. Yes, we're those east side parents, and we're simply dismissed as, well, don't worry much about them, they're fine. I see some disparity in some of the schools, and I would like to make sure that all of them are equitable. And if there's a 4th one, college readiness, or just readiness for when you leave. That's always a goal, though. Whether you're going, like, say, into the service, or a 2-year degree, or a 4-year degree, or the workforce, we got to make sure that our students are ready when they leave this place. Thank you.
Thank you. So in my time on the board, the challenges change year to year, and for me, our top 3 right now that are in front of us are funding. The legislature made a 2-cycle commitment for how they're going to fund education, and so we need a permanent plan. And so it helps us attract high-quality staff. It helps us understand year to year what we're going to do, but the funding mechanism has changed every time the legislature gets together. So I think one of the things that we have got to figure out as a district is how do we survive in that environment. And so, because we want to continue to do things like teacher pay, funding every student, not just equitably, but equally. And how do we make sure that every campus has the right dollar for what they need? So that's number 1 for me. The second is growth. We've talked about it. We continue to grow. We need to get ahead of that growth and not be reactive to that growth. I think we're moving in that direction. I'll circle back a little bit to the administration building. That's a good example of a new way of thinking, and that building is going to be built for growth. It's only going to be 80% occupied when it's open. And people might think, oh my gosh, why are we spending taxpayer dollars to have empty offices? Because we know we're going to fill it up. We know the administration and the number of people in that office can't be the same as it is at 21,000 students that it will be at 60,000 students. And so we're planning ahead, we're thinking, and we need to continue to do that and make sure that, again, we're not being reactionary to that. I think being proactive in that regard helps us, again, attract really high-quality staff across the gamut, and that's great. And the last is, and it's been talked about as well, is the COVID learning gap. I mean, you know, you guys are living this, and you see it every day, and we hear your stories, and we know what's going on. The recovery is going to be a challenge. The board has asked for feedback from teachers and administration to say, tell us what you need, and we'll help you find the money and the resources to be successful at getting our students back to where they were just as fast as we can get them there. We're committed to that. We'll figure it out. I don't know what it looks like today. We're working through the budget right now, but you better believe that we are going to make a concerted effort to make that gap as short as we can, because we know some students have fallen significantly behind. It can't go on. We don't want a 5-month time to turn into a 2-year time, to turn into a what happened to our students and who are we as a district. So those are my priorities: state funding, growth, and closing that COVID learning gap. Thank you.
Okay, top 3 challenges in Hays CISD. I would say that our first top challenge is COVID and the effects of COVID, specifically learning loss. I was just recently at a school board meeting and Dr. Wright spoke on this. He spoke about students having 5 months of learning loss under these COVID times. Right now the district is planning to offer summer school for all students. We need to be hiring more interventionists. We currently have 1 to 2 interventionists per campus. We probably need more. We need tutors, more tutors. So that is how I plan to address the specific learning loss. But I also think our district is right on top of that, and Dr. Wright and the board is doing an amazing job. The second challenge I would say is growth in our district and unpredictable funding. We have $7 million of TEA funding. That's a one-time funding that we're uncertain of receiving, and we have no idea what the strings are going to be attached to those. So that is of great concern. We need to be talking to our legislators and putting pressure on them and making sure that we continue to get funding for all of the things. And the third, lastly, is mental health. As I said earlier, suicide rates are on the rise. We just heard from our student leadership team, and they have spoken very loud and clear that they face this every single day. They see this as students, and they are very vocal about it. And we need to make sure that we're putting resources in place to address those issues. So those are my top 3 challenges that I see in our district. But again, I think Dr. Wright and our administration is doing a great job in addressing all of those things, and I will continue to support them.
Okay.